Hi, my name is Anurag Saran, and today I will be talking about building a comprehensive anti money laundering system using Red Hat technologies. Most of these anti money laundering systems are expert systems. Along with that, we want to make use of analytics, make use of regression models, and these models could be an input to these anti money laundering systems. At the same time, we want to also make use of all the data that we have in different systems in our organization. We want to build a single view of a customer. So for that, we would have to look at integration technologies or data virtualization technologies. We also want to ensure that a transaction processing system is a real-time system, that the transactions are flagged as and when they happen. So we should look at some of the data caching technologies to help speed up your transaction processing times. Along with that, we want to have our rules and business processes encoded in such a way so that the business user and the technical user can both understand the same artifact and also work on those same artifacts. So one of the so the technologies in that space to look at are Red Hat business process management systems and Red Hat rule management systems. Now let's look at a reference architecture. So we want to build a 360 view of the customer. So for that, we want to connect to different data sources using our integration technologies, data virtualization technologies, and build a single view of a customer. In the center, we have a real-time transaction processing engine, which is based on rules and business process management engines. As these transactions flow through these rules engine, they get evaluated to identify whether these transactions are suspicious or not. And if they are found to be suspicious, a task could be created for an analyst to work on. We also want these rules engines to be updated dynamically. So we may make use of MapReduce, Spark, or technologies like that, and essentially create rules on the fly and push those rules in the transaction processing engine. We may also want to build some regression models. They can also be an input to the transaction processing engine. While we are building this high speed real time transaction processing engine, we also want to build a UI that our users would love. So you could use technologies like Twitter Bootstrap and build a UI for your users that basically connect into the transaction processing engine, and your users could work on the UI that they love. So as I talked about, that you have data in multiple data systems in your organization, and that we call as free data. So we encourage you to use technologies like Red Hat JBoss Fuse or Red Hat data virtualization technologies to connect to these different data sources and create a single view of a customer, so that you can build a more intelligent anti-money laundering system. While you're building that anti-money laundering system, some of the aspects to look at technologies like pig, as I mentioned earlier, to so that you can create a profile of your customer and create these rules on demand. Along with that, we encourage you to look at regression models that are available now, and they can also become an input to your anti-money laundering systems. Along with that, we also encourage you to look at graph databases, because when a transaction has been identified as fraudulent, uh, the analyst would like to see how the transaction relates to other transactions, how the owner or the customer relates to other customers. Uh, so graph databases really help you visualize that and makes your analyst much more intelligent. So while you're building these anti-money laundering processes, you and we as and I have been talking about creating and updating these rules in real time. You also want to give complete control to your business analyst so that he can tweak and continuously optimize your rules and business processes as they are getting executed. So with the Red Hat BRMS and BPMS tools, that's what we enable your business users to do. So now let's look at just one of the use cases. When a transaction comes in, what could happen? So a transaction comes in, it goes and hits the all the rules that we have, and it's identified to be a suspicious transaction. So when a transaction is identified to be a suspicious transaction, a task is created and assigned to the business user. So once a task is assigned to the business user, he needs to know exactly complete history of the account holder. So we pull that data out and store it in a caching engine so that the business user can easily and quickly access that data. At the same time, the business user also needs to know the number of rules or the exact rules that were executed, so that he has complete visibility into why that transaction was flagged as suspicious. And we also want to give control to the business user to continuously go and update these business rules and business processes. That we'll look into the demo how the business user can do that. So we'll